I'm here today to find out if Michelle abused our 1-year-old son. Michelle's my fiancée and I've been with her for a year and a half. About a month ago, our son was at a family member's home and she'd watch him all the time. She had noticed that there was a bump to his head, so she sent us the pictures. We looked at the pictures. There was nothing indicating that there was a bruise there. Our son stayed there for a weekend and we got him back on a Sunday. After we picked up our son from the family member, we had noticed a soft spot, so I rushed him to the ER. The doctor had diagnosed him with a fracture on his skull, and he had thumbprints on his chest, implants of somebody shaking him. The doctor said our son was a victim of a child abuse. When my son was removed from the home, I mean, it tore me up. I mean, it literally tore me up, and it still tears me up today. Michelle had stated to the police that she claimed that she hit our son with a bow in the head. She had told me she lied, that the cops made her say that, and now we're here on the show today to find out the truth. Do I believe her or do I believe the family member? My son is being bounced from house to home to foster care. We have supervised visits 2 days a week, an hour a day, and that's all we get. If Michelle fails this lie detector test today, she's going to have to face what's coming to her. I can't stay with her if she has abused our son like this. It's not fair to him.
Michelle, do you think you're a good mother?
Yes.
Why do you think you're a good mom?
Because I make sure that my kids are well taken care of before even anything that I need.
How many kids do you have?
I have 2.
Yeah. But for today's purpose, we're going to talk about the youngest one,
Yes.
right? Now, you told CPS and the police that you hit your son with a ball.
Correct.
Did you hit your son with a ball?
No.
Why did you say that you did?
I was afraid, and I was in a room for 3 hours being interrogated by myself, and they literally told me that I had to figure out how it happened or people were going to jail.
So he said, you better tell us what happened or you're going to go to jail.
Yes.
And you didn't know what happened?
No.
So you said, I hit him with the ball.
Yes.
You thought that was a good idea?
No.
But you did it anyways.
Correct.
You regret saying that now?
Definitely.
After you said this to the police, did they charge you with the crime?
No.
Your son has a fracture in his skull, right?
Correct.
First of all, tell me, do you know how that happened?
I do not.
No idea.
No.
Whose care was he in when his skull was fractured?
A family member's.
Yeah. Why was the family member watching your son?
She would watch him here and there to give us a break to cool off and have that space.
You need cooling off?
My son is a lot to handle, so I take a couple day breaks.
You'd give your child to somebody for a couple days because he's too much to handle.
And she asks us to see him.
And how many days at a time would this person watch him?
2, that's it.
2. You don't think that's odd?
Yes.
What did you have to cool down from?
Stress.
Stress. As a new parent.
Yes.
Yeah, it's stressful, right?
It is.
Having a little baby?
It is.
I remember, I had 2 of them.
It's
I don't
rough.
remember handing my child off for a couple days at a time, though. Did they send you a text saying you need to take your son to the hospital?
Yes.
And what did you do?
We got him back on Sunday, and that's when we took him in.
When did they send the text?
Friday night.
And you went over there on Sunday?
Yes, because...
After she said your son needs to go to the hospital?
Yes, she's...
Why'd you wait 2 days?
Because when she sent the picture, there was no indication that he had any markings on
But
his
she's
head.
telling you he has an injury.
And she's had a history of lying to us before.
So you said, she's probably that our child has an injury.
Correct.
And you waited 2 days.
Correct.
And you think that's okay?
No.
That's normal?
No.
Then why'd you do it?
I was in shock and I didn't believe it.
You were in shock. Shock from what?
Hearing
A
that.
text?
Hearing that.
You went into shock from a text you read.
Correct.
Man, you're going to go far in this world. So did you take him on Sunday?
Yes.
You went to the hospital?
Yes.
What happened?
They transferred him to Grand Rapids Children's Hospital.
Because he had a skull fracture?
Correct.
So now you kind of wish you would have took him on Friday, right?
Correct.
When you heard the news that your son had a skull fracture, did you go in shock again?
It was hard to believe it, but
It's hard to hear that your son has a skull. How old was your son at the time?
He is 16 months old.
And how old was he when he got the skull fracture?
He was 15 months.
So a month ago?
Yes.
Your son has a skull fracture on the left side of his head with a large hematoma over it, and injuries were confirmed on a CAT scan. He has bruises under the breast area around the lower rib cages and several bruises on his head. The bruising on his body looks like it had come from someone grabbing him and shaking him. You ever shake your son?
No.
How about this person that was watching him? Did you say, hey, did you do this?
We've asked her and she denies it.
Yeah. But do you believe her?
I believe she had something to do with it.
Why?
Because she's had a history of sending him to us after watching him with bruises and blaming it on
So
my
you kept
niece.
sending him back anyways?
Not after this incident, no. She sent him back with bruisings and a bunch of mosquito bites that didn't look normal. And
But you kept sending him back
Yes.
regardless? Because you needed cooling off again?
Correct.
Your story kept changing throughout the night. Rochelle reported on Thursday morning that your son was not listening, and it made you upset. Did you say that?
Correct.
What were you telling him?
I've told him to not play with the plugs and try
The
to grab
bugs?
the plugs,
Oh,
the
plug.
outlets.
Oh,
Yes.
the plugs.
Yes, he
You know,
takes
as an
pride.
adult, you're supposed to baby-proof your home, right?
I have.
Did you put the things that cover the
Yes,
electrical
he's
outlets?
learned how to pull those out.
And so what'd you do when you did that?
I told him that that was wrong, and I smacked him on the butt.
Smacked him on the butt. Did you push his head into a cupboard?
No.
Did you tell him that you did that?
Yes.
Again, why'd you do that if you didn't do it?
Because I was afraid
See,
that
the person
if
that
they
has a
did-
history of lying here is kind of standing on my stage, right? I mean, her story stinks, right?
Yes.
Does she ever lie to you in the past about
Yes,
this?
she has.
She's a liar. Why are you with the liar?
I thought she would change.
Yeah. And how many children do you have with her?
Just
Just this one. And your son, you know, you were taking him, your son, and handing him off to a family member, right?
yes.
Why were you doing this?
She got attached to him, and we
This
would,
family member got attached?
yes, and we'd let him go to her, and it wasn't about stress.
Yeah, but what about for a couple hours? I mean, what's this couple days stuff?
She had asked for it. To
Yeah,
have
but dude, I would, like, if somebody said, hey, can I watch your kids for 2 days? I'd say, no.
Yes. It would.
I mean, wouldn't
Yeah.
most people say, no,
True.
these are my children and I need to be with
True.
them. But again, you didn't think anything
No,
crazy about
when I
it
looked at
either.
the picture,
But
there
how
was-
about when you get the text saying, something's wrong with your son, he needs to go to the hospital?
at that point, yes.
Why
But
wait 2 days, though?
when I looked at the picture, it didn't look like there was anything wrong.
But you're not a doctor, are you?
No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
Right, I'm not a doctor.
No.
Like when I don't know, everybody's different, but like,
Yeah.
if my son I thought was ill, you know, especially when they're babies, I would think this is your first child?
No, I've got 3.
Okay. But so when you have babies in the past and they were ill, did you take them to the doctor?
Yes, I have.
Then why not this one? Did you raise your first child like that too?
No.
Why does this one get all that special treatment?
It's overwhelming with another
What
one.
is overwhelming in your life? And listen, I'm trying to be sensitive here. I'm not downplaying a mother with a child. Can be overwhelming. I understand. But, you know, explaining what happened does not make an excuse for it happening. Okay? You could say, yeah, I felt overwhelmed, but it doesn't excuse your bad actions. You know, 15 months, can they even understand verbal commands? Some children maybe, some not.
Correct.
You know, squirming on the diaper table? What baby doesn't, right? Like
Right.
they come with those lips so they don't fall off because they struggle. You got to grab the feet and they're kicking away. That's a normal thing, right?
Right.
Do you think that she injured your child?
Yes.
Did you tell the police that?
Yes, I told him.
How come she's not in handcuffs?
I don't know.
Do you have the patience to be a mom?
Yes.
You do.
Yes.
What if let me ask you this. What if you fail this lie detector test? Should you get your son back?
No.
Even you admit that.
Correct.
Do you think you're going to pass?
Yes.
Did you hand that child off with an injury to that other person?
No.
You said you're engaged?
Yes.
When's the big date?
There is no date right now after this.
After this?
Yes.
What if she passes?
Well, the one thing is you're going to get counseling. Some real good counseling.
Why you would...
'Cause this is no fair.
That sounds real nice. I don't believe it. Nothing against you, but why are you with such an older guy? I mean, he's like 25 years older than you.
We have a lot in common, and
You have a lot
I
in
fell
common.
in love with him.
What do you have a lot in common with?
We've been through a rough past, and we're
You've been
trying to
through what?
go forward. We've had a rough past growing up and been through a lot, and we're trying to move forward.
And
from it.
there's nobody younger, more your age, that you had a rough past that you can find?
No,
You can't find anybody.
no.
You had a child with somebody else.
Yes, I did.
Okay, so you did find somebody else at one time, right?
Thought I did.
Manuel, you came here, took a lie detector test, and we asked you, did you do anything to cause your one-year-old son's skull fracture? You answered no. Did you ever shake your one-year-old son? You answered no. Do you have any knowledge of anyone abusing your one-year-old son? You answered no. And the result for your lie detector test result is that you told the truth. First question, did you strike your one-year-old son with a plastic bowl? You answered no, and that came back inconclusive. Okay. No, that means we can't figure out if you're telling the truth or you didn't tell the truth. So, doesn't matter. It doesn't say you did it. We can't tell. Inconclusive. But then we did get two results for the next two questions. Did you do anything to cause your one-year-old son's skull fracture? You answered no. Did you shake your one-year-old son? You answered no. Those two came back the same, and it came back that you did not tell the truth. I honestly don't believe that you're evil. I don't want to believe you're evil. I don't think you're evil, but I think you did a really bad thing. And I think you need help.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have anybody to turn to?
No. I was raised in the foster care system all my life.
Yeah. I want to get you help.
Yes.
It's unfortunate, but sometimes when people are put in the system like you were, it kind of creates a cycle.
Yes.
And now your son's in the system. And I would love more than anything to stop that cycle with you and your son.
Yes.
I would encourage you when you go back, you talk to the police, try to remember, try to get help. You need to go back to a doctor,
Yes.
figure out what's going on, get you help. And I encourage, if there is anybody in your life that cares about you, somebody needs to, take you by the shoulder and say, you need to say goodbye to certain situations. You need some help. You need parenting classes, things like this. Maybe you go on your own for a while. Raise your children. You need, when you think your child is sick, you take them to the hospital right away. You take them to the doctor, okay? Yes. I hope that you do steps to, figure this out, make amends with what happened with your son, and so you can get him back, and that you can be a good mother.
Yes.
Okay? All right. You go off the stage, please. You go off the stage, please. Can you relate to this story? Go to www.stevewilkos.com to get my help.